Welcome to this lesson on exponents. So we would like to evaluate exponential expressions, and then we'd like to simplify some algebraic expressions. So first we're to evaluate the exponential expression, and we see that we have a -2 inside of a parentheses and then a little 4, small 4, which is the exponent. So let's define what are the parts of an exponential expression. The -2 in this case is the base, and 4 is the exponent. Actually, let me change colors and so that, we can show the base in one color. So this is the base part, the -2. And since the exponent is right next to the parentheses, the base is what is inside of the parentheses, or -2 in this case. So -2 is the base, and 4 is the exponent. And there's another name for exponent. Sometimes you'll see the word power. And as a matter of fact, we said that this was -2 raised to the 4th power. So 4 is the power and 4 is the exponent. Means the same thing. Notice that we're just using the number 4, which is a counting number or a natural number. In this lesson, we'll restrict our use of exponents to just the natural numbers or counting numbers. Okay? Now, what does -2 to the 4th power, what does that mean? That means that -2 is a factor, our base, -2 is a factor 4 times. Because the exponent is 4, the base then is a factor 4 times. That means -2 times -2 times -2. And so what is the product of those 4 numbers? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, and we have an even number of negative numbers, and if you remember from a previous lesson, that gives us a positive 16. So -2 raised to the 4th power is positive 16. The next problem looks similar. Matter of fact, it looks very similar. However, we will arrive at a different answer. Notice that in this case we have -2 raised to the 4th power without a parentheses. -2 to the 4th power without a parentheses, and in the previous problem we had -2 to the 4th power with the parentheses. In this case, 2, which is right next to the 4, is the base. The negative sign is not part of the base because it wasn't in a parentheses, so the base part is just the 2, and the exponent again, of course, is 4. So we'll write in our exponent of 4 for the exponent. And so this has a different meaning than the preceding problem. In this case, we take the base, which is 2, and we write it as a factor 4 times. So 2 is a factor 4 times, and notice that I put the negative sign out in front because it's not part of the base. It's not next to the exponent. So there's 2 as a factor 4 times, and then that is equal to 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, but we want the opposite of 16, or -16. And notice that before we got positive 16, this time we got -16, and the difference was all in the parentheses. So in this case, the answer is -16 without parentheses. The next problem is 1 raised to the 3rd power, or 1 with an exponent of 3. and that means that our base is 1. The 3 is just right next to the 1, so our base is 1. So we write 1 as a factor 3 times, and 1 times 1 times 1 is, that's equal to 1. Not 3, but 1. And so our answer is 1 for that problem. Next, we are to simplify the algebraic expression if possible. And the first problem has 4x squared plus 8x squared. Can we simplify this? We can simplify algebraic expressions if they have the same variable factors. And in this case, we have 2 for each term. X to the second power means that x is a factor twice in both cases. So yes, we can simplify this problem. We just add the coefficient parts, 4 plus 8, and 4 plus 8 is equal to 12. And then we just write what the exponent part, what the variable part is, which is x to the second power. So 12x to the second power. What we do not want to do is write this as 12x to the fourth power. We do not add the exponents, we just keep the exponents the same. In the next problem, we have 3x raised to the third power plus 5x raised to the second power, and notice that the exponents are not the same. That means the variable factors are not the same, and therefore this cannot be simplified. So they must match. The exponents must match. They don't match in this problem, so it cannot be simplified. The next problem is a subtraction, and we check to see, do we have the same exponents for each of the terms? And yes, we have y to the second power in both terms. So we can simplify this, and let's rewrite this one as we have a subtraction. We can change the subtraction to add the opposite. So the opposite of 5y squared is negative 5y squared. And now we can just add the coefficients of the variable. 5 plus negative 5 is 0, 0y squared. And if you remember, if 0 is one of our factors, then the product is 0. So in this case, the product is 0. And that's all that we're going to do in this video. We did evaluate exponential expressions, and we did simplify a couple of algebraic expressions. We would like to emphasize the importance of the difference between when we did negative 2 to the fourth power with the parentheses and when we did it without a parentheses, and how we got two different answers. So this is probably the most important part of this lesson. That's it, and we'll see you next time.